Welcome to TORAH Talk. I am your host, William Hall, broadcasting live out of Kingsland, Texas, USA, with a brand new series, although I'm calling it episode number 2 of Bible Talk, inspired by a spontaneous recording from last week, and I'm just glad to be back in the studio again. It's been a long time out of the studio, so I feel like I've got a lot to make up, and so it's kind of nice that you guys are allowing me to do that. So. But anyway, just wanted to say one reason why I jumped to it this week so fast is because earlier today I did a recording with Rabbi Singer, and the video was very glitchy, and so I had to do some research all day today. I pretty much took off work today to try to actually to stay out of the cold, because it's like really, the wind chill is just insanely cold to be working outside trying to put on a sheet metal roof. So I decided to stay in and just kind of work on this to try to get this figured out. So I think I've got it resolved. One thing I don't have right now is I don't have the Ring Central. Where's the Ring Central up yet? I need to log into that now. Bear with me a second. So it's been a handful of hours actually working this out, but I think I got it figured out. So apparently my video card on the main computer can't handle running Skype and Wirecast and Tyler Live all on the same card. So I had to move Skype off to a different computer, and that's what I've got here. So let me log in here. Boom, Ring Central is open. We'll see if anybody calls in. If you're watching, that's great. No need for tonight going ultra long, but I figured this would be a good but a second recording. When we did the last one, it was more like a toast to cheers to you guys, and it was really amazing. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I just enjoyed visiting with you guys kind of one-on-one, so to speak, and it was nice talking to you all on the phone as well. So, so Shalom, Jason. Yes, very cold. Probably not as cold as it is in some of the northern states, but hey. Hello, Kelsey Lynn. Shalom to you as well. And so, oh my gosh. So anyway, earlier today, I don't know if y'all saw the video earlier, but it was, I went back and rewatched it again. There's nothing I can actually do on post-production about it, but it just, the transfer rate with a video. Not even sure I'm using the right terminology, but it was pretty hairy. Clear, but just jittery and broken up. You can see a lot of this max headroom stuff going on, like it is repeating itself. It was kind of cool. So I think I just gave myself a headache. I'm just kidding. Okay. Oh, wow. So tonight, basically the idea for this show with Bible Talk is there's just a lot of questions and a lot of people wanting to watch another show where there's just, I guess you could say, just a little bit more freeform, and because there's really pretty much nothing that I won't answer, and for the sake of keeping things peaceful and not having issues publicly. A lot of the times, the questions that are asked or presented are ones that we would tend to push back. I'm sitting there trying to figure out why this mouse won't work. It's the wrong mouse. Oh, there we go. Okay. Anyway, so with that said, if it's a question and I know the answer to, I will address it regardless of what it is. Rabbi Chaim Coffman is really good at that, by the way. He's, in fact, if you're watching that, I know he's waiting for his shot. We were going to record, next Wednesday will be his, I think it's going to be episode number 9, actually. So with Rabbi Chaim Coffman, and the whole purpose of that show is to discuss controversial issues. So if you're out there and you want to chat, you can either call in. The phone line is open, and also you could Skype me as well. That's what this little screen. Yeah, all this right here screen. So if you want to see your handsome or pretty face up here, just give me a call on Skype. And just look up TORAH Talk, TENAKTALK. In fact, you should do that, and let's do a test. Who's out there? Jason? Okay, Jason, if you've got Skype, I'm going to put you on the spot, man. Let's get you up on the Skype window. All right? So, I once visited a friend in Houston in December. Was told it was so cold, there was ice on the runway here in Virginia in the 70s in Texas. I know what you guys think of as cold. Well, and we typically have a long-standing understanding of weather in Texas. You have summer, and then not summer, generally speaking. It doesn't mean it's necessarily winter, as you alluded to so discreetly there. It's last year we only had 2 nights, I think, that was below freezing. Last night was our first one, I think, with the wind chill and stuff. So no camera, but I do have Skype. Okay, well, if you can't go on video, then you might as well just call the 800 number. 855-952-4253. Okay, so really Skype is dropped in for a quick shalom, EVW. Shalom to you. Good to see you. Kelsey Lynn, there's such spitting snow. Oh my gosh, snowing where you're at? Really? Wow, that is really crazy, man. Really, really, really crazy. Okay, so my question to you guys is, what is a question that you may have that you find yourself difficult finding answers for? Maybe not because the people don't know what the answers are, but maybe because they just don't feel obliged to go publicly and answer these things. So in a way, I kind of want to address some of that stuff here too, because there's a lot of questions that I have during each show that I can't present because either we don't have time or it's the wrong format. And so as it turns out, sometimes I'll try to write them down, but then by the time the next week comes along with all these extra shows, I kind of forget what they are. So there's just a lot of crazy stuff. Snow and ice in Portland, Oregon. Cool. So anyway, so last time we were talking about in the last show where we was kind of doing a test run of just hanging out. Let me go back here. There it goes. We were talking about how to discuss things with Christians, and one thing that I often wanted to know was what kind of an impact that it actually makes on the kids. And so like for me and my wife, we had it was really easy actually for our kids, because our kids were young when we stopped doing the Messianic thing and we started going straight like we left Messianic and went straight Torah, and they were young enough to just trust us. It was like it was almost like they were believing in Yeshua because they were supposed to, because we told them. It was like riding in a car to the shopping mall. They don't know where they're going. They trust mom and dad know where they're going, so they don't ever question. Now David will correct me, but when you're going to the store or going to the mall or whatever, and they don't know the route, they just know they're going somewhere with you, and where is not really that relevant. And so fortunately for us, they were young enough to where they were just like riding in the car with us. And so when we jumped off the train, they didn't say, "Hey, that's the wrong turn. You shouldn't be doing that," because they were really too young. Now they are getting older, of course, and every day they do their studies. They're probably more faithful with reading the Hebrew Scriptures and reading the Christian New Testament more than I am. A lot of people will criticize, "Why are you letting your children read the Christian New Testament? You should be putting that aside." And the answer is very simple. I don't ever want to be guilty of not only being accused of, but I also don't want to accuse myself of possibly hiding open-minded studies from them. I want them to continue reading the New Testament, but in light of the Hebrew Scriptures. And so as they do their curriculum, they're doing homeschool curriculum, this Christian Light education. I think it was Christian Light. It may still be, I'm not sure. But we have the authority, so to speak, to, as they're doing their studies, we guide them and tell them, well, don't put the answer they want, put the answer is right. And then, of course, since mommy is the teacher, she can grade them. And if it is the right answer, she'll give them credit for being the right answer, even though it's the wrong answer according to the book. But the book doesn't really care. So it's interesting and important that people know what the New Testament says, but only in light of the Hebrew Scriptures, because where people make a mistake is studying the New Testament alone and just putting all their life's energy into reading and studying and memorizing what Paul said and memorizing what Jesus said and all this other stuff without comparing it to the Hebrew Scriptures. And if you're just now watching this for the first time, the Hebrew Scriptures is the original language of what the Christian most of the world calls the Old Testament. In Judaism, there is no Old Testament. There's only one Testament, and that's the Hebrew Scriptures. The New Testament per se, spoken of in Jeremiah, hasn't actually happened yet. So, according to that prophecy, anyway. If you got any questions on that, just give me a call or shoot me an email. So, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put the phone number up on screen. I'll do that now, just so that it's a constant temptation for you. Let me find that thing right there, and we'll start with that one. There we go. So anyway, how the kids are learning this stuff is there are certain key memory verses that we're having them to memorize, and important ones that, in fact, I've got a list on Facebook. I'll see if I can find it real quick. If I can, I'll put it up. Maybe I'll put it up on this screen. If I do that, I need to pull it over here. I wonder if I can see. Oh yeah, I can see my mouse, so that's good. It means I can drag something over. So let me try to find that list. But there's a certain, I don't want to say an amount because everything is important to learn. But my advice to you is I wouldn't withhold the New Testament from your kids, because unless, of course, you have no desire whatsoever to do anything with counter missionary work. See, me, y'all know where I stand now, and what level I'm getting involved in still dealing with New Testament issues. I don't ever intend on changing that. I know a lot of people who are Christian and Messianic, and a lot of them were even Messianic rabbis, if you will, teachers, and they, throw away all their old beliefs and convert to Judaism. They don't want to look back. I totally respect that. Me and my family, we're not going to be that way. I'm literally going to teach David to take over Tanakh Talk one day, and I want him to be well versed on both ends, on the Holy Scriptures and the Christian Scriptures, and I want him to know these things. And the same with my daughter Sarah. So as we get into moving forward, we're going to keep them in the curriculum that we're doing for homeschool, and once because it's affordable, but also because we have that freedom to teach them how and what we want. So with that said, let me see if I've got. Let me see if I can find that note real fast, and then I'm going to put it up. Oh, this is good because you can see what I'm doing here. That's really good. So let me go to my page here. Again, the phone line's open. I think it's up, but I haven't heard any calls or anything yet. We may not even have any viewers. I really don't know. It looks like we've got a few viewers. Let's see. Where are we at here? Oh, there's 9 there. Hey, one of you guys can give me a call if you want to Skype me. That'd be cool. Let's see if I missed any important messages. Okay, so far it's good. Chit chat between y'all. That's good. Okay, Kelsey Lynn, I may be missing some context. Maybe it's actually in your comment. I'm not sure. If it is, let me know if there's something there that you said your husband is still confused, especially this time of year. So if you want to call in, give us a call and tell us what you're thinking there. Okay. So I'm going to close out this. I want to keep my activity down. It looks like there's a little bit of jittery stuff still taking place. I'm going to have to figure it out. So, but anyway, so let me look at this list real fast. And if you want this list, providing I could actually find it, notes, there it is right there. I think it's right on the top here. Yep, this is it right here. So I'm going to open this list. Okay. And I need to reduce this down so it'll actually fit in the same area like this right here. Come on. You got to grab. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's it right there. Oh, let me scoot over now. Okay, so the whole point is, can Jesus be the Messiah, right? Okay, let's take this call first. We'll come back to this question and comment. Shalom, welcome to the show. Tell us your name, where you're calling from.
This is Kelsey.
Hi, Kelsey. Thanks for calling in. So I know she had a comment there. You said your husband is still struggling with things, and especially this time of year. What do you have on your mind?
Well, he still gets upset because there's like so many memories wrapped around this time of year. Because one, it was his mom's, and ever since she died back in 2003, it's just basically. And and his family still participates in it, and we now have a new niece.
Oh, wow.
So,
That always makes it more difficult when you have a new family, or at least family that does communicate a lot. And it does. It makes it quite difficult because you're stuck
mhm,
between a rock and a hard place on, well, um, do we, try to blend in so we don't run off our new family because we love them, or, what do we do? And as I mentioned to you, the purpose of the show is for me to be just blatantly honest about everything that I say. And I don't suspect that everybody's going to agree with how I see things. I can only tell you through my experiences. And I know you're not done telling me about your husband's situation yet. I'm just kind of prepping along the way, because I actually have a question or two for you on that with your husband. How long have y'all been out of idolatry in that sense?
mm, let's see. Officially, I'm going to say at least 2 years, but I've been struggling with it since I was at least 5.
Wow, so you got an early start.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you get the full Ten Commandments in Sunday school, and then you're
Hmm.
attending a Catholic kindergarten, and they totally miss the graven images, and you see the graven images everywhere in every
Mm-mm.
single classroom, and you're like, say what?
That's funny. That's so true, though. I mean, and what's really interesting is, and a lot of Christians don't even really know this, but for them to even retain their title as a Christian, they too have to, not only the Hebrew scriptures, the Old Testament, but the New Testament. They've got to like throw away half of their New Testament because there's so many contradictions in there. They literally have to pick which ones they're going to follow, you know. And it's pretty interesting for sure. So it's good that you got a good early start on the whole thing. Um, 2 years ago.
Yeah, and then I nearly get my head taken off for it.
Mm-hmm. Of course, right? Wow. So your husband now, you and your husband throughout the year, y'all are pretty much on the same page with the leaving the New Testament behind idea?
Yeah, for the most part. He does like Sukkot, except he hates putting it up.
Gotcha,
he,
gotcha.
he complains so much.
Right,
But once
gotcha.
it's up, he likes it.
Right.
It's just a,
Okay,
even
gotcha.
though I had to have it inside this year instead of outside, but hey.
Right, right. Gotcha. So in general, like throughout the year, through like Pesach and Yom Kippur, things like that. How do you guys work? How do y'all handle those particular holidays? Asking you all this
Mm,
because I'm more curious about how the response is, and how what type of influences your husband has, not only from you, but how he deals with things on himself. Because I know one thing I notice is we create patterns in our lives. We create our own channel. It's like, when you drive up and down your driveway over and over and over again, you create those ruts. When it's the same is true with how we respond to things. And so if you notice a pattern of doing the same thing over and over again, that rut's only going to get deeper and deeper for the most part, unless there's you literally have to start initiating changes. I heard somebody, I don't know where the phrase was coined from, but it says, when a person keeps repeating the same action over and over again, yet expecting different results, that's the definition of insanity. And so
mhm.
that moved me a lot, because there was year after year for a while I was just like, I would deal with life that way. I'd have a complaint, but I wouldn't do anything really to change it. I was just like sitting around hoping, praying God would change the other person, but realistically, it was me that needed the work. But you're like you said, for now, for Christmas, he's got a lot of social ties with family. and with emotions from growing up with Christmas and stuff. Are y'all? Do you live in the same town as your family, as his family?
Yes.
You do. Oh, that makes it even harder. Got it. Um, have
So
you?
at least Dad's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have y'all discussed where you stand at all with any of your family, or is this kind of like y'all's secret move and they haven't found out yet?
Basically, my side of the family kind of knows, and I've got the disappointment card handed to me
Mm-hmm.
over that one. Guilt tripping.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
But his family, I haven't really said much because basically the spiritual leader of the family was their mom.
Gotcha. Okay.
And when she died and then her mom passed away, it kind of left a void.
Wow. Wow. Gotcha.
So,
Well, I will tell you this. If I was to offer advice to someone I don't know, and really I don't know. I mean, we're friends on Facebook and on YouTube, but that's pretty much it. I would say this. I would say you have to initiate change. Really, it's something that if he's going to want the best outcome, if he wants to have this change take place to where when Sukkot comes around, he looks forward to taking the time to put up a sukkah and do all this other stuff. Then he's really the one that's going to have to do the changes. I mean, you can't change him. You can influence him, but you can't change him. So he's got to understand that the whole rut thing I was telling you about. He needs to take that steering wheel and just, when he goes down the driveway next time, just bump it over about 6 inches and get up on dry ground again. Because as long as he keeps doing the same thing every year, he's going to get the same exact results, and it's just not going to be pleasing for him. So it's one of those things. There's nothing, unfortunately, you can do about it. You could pray for him, but I'm under the understanding that God's not going to change your husband because you prayed for him. What you can pray for is that God would show you how you can influence him, which would initiate changes on his behalf and a change in the thought pattern. And that's really it. And my encouragement to you is this: don't let people around you bring you down. Do it yourself, like King David, whenever they came and took all those men and the women and everything, and it says that King David he encouraged himself. So do what you can to stay plugged into some sort of community, whether it's on Facebook. I mean, the social media is amazing these days. Stay plugged in and just stay focused, and just pray for strength for yourself and ask God to show you how you can benefit. I mean, how you can be a beneficial change participant in this whole process. It's the best you can do, really. But meanwhile, just study. Just keep your head in the Word and just keep those activities. I have this. My favorite thought is, feed those things you want to grow, but the things you don't want to grow, stop feeding it. That's how it works.
yeah. Basically, I've just let him do his own thing.
Okay.
And there's been times that he would come around and ask questions, and it's usually after watching a show on TV, usually one of the Jewish channels. And I always point him to that mission app.
Oh, Jewish Mission Control?
Things a whole lot easier.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Federow's got some really good apps out there, too. I mean,
Yeah.
that's his app.
And
so
because
that's
it's just short, it's perfect for him because he's not much of a reader. If he would read.
Now, is he hungry for it, but he just doesn't like to read? Is that really the issue? Because
I really don't know.
you should find out. You should really find out.
How work is, it just has him stressed out a lot. So.
Gotcha. Well, one thing's for sure, I was not a big reader, and what led me out of the New Testament was I went and bought a Bible iPod, and I just started listening to. I knew the New Testament pretty well already. I just didn't know the Old Testament, the Hebrew Scriptures very well. So I bought the Bible iPod, and I went back and I listened to Genesis through Deuteronomy like Oh my gosh, so many times. It was unbelievable. But it was so cool because by listening to it over and over and over again, I was able to intake a whole lot more than I would be able to read because I didn't read fast anyway. And so listening to it, I could focus on it. And I had like hours of driving every day, commuting. And it was through listening to it over and over and over again where I actually started seeing problems with the New Testament because once it starts getting in your head, your memory, and then you kind of reflect back on a New Testament something or other, and then you can know because it's like, no, wait a minute, I know because right here in Deuteronomy 18 it says this, 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 and this. So if he's got a reading deal where he doesn't like to read, man, that would be a cool place to start. Look for a little Bible iPod or something, and just encourage him to, hey, about this where I know you don't like reading, so I figured you might like this. So I don't know. You could always get in the 24-pack CD set for Rabbi Singer. Just let him plow through those dozens of times. That'll certainly usher some knowledge into his heart.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, stay encouraged. Don't give up. You're in this thing for the long haul, and so is he. It doesn't. There's no real promise it's going to be easy. Just hang in there and keep doing what's right. So you'll be all right. You'll be all right. Stay plugged into your community too. All right.
Alrighty.
Okay, Kelsey. Thanks for calling. Shalom to you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Take care. Bye bye.
See you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, so this list, I think it's big enough where you can see it. I'm going to have to scroll with this guy here. And if you can't see it, if you don't have this list, if you want this list, just tell me, and I'll get you this list. Let me see if I can actually move this whole thing to where it fits better in here. Kind of like that right there. That's a lot better. Okay, so, oh, really? Are you going to do that to me now? Okay, at least it snapped back. Okay, so basically, I'm going to go down to the actual verses. I basically paraphrased, the 53 references, but then at the bottom is where I kind of put everything in specifics. Now, my recommendation to you is create yourself a list. Find you a list like this. Write them on whatever you got to do. Write them on a piece of paper, print them off, keep them in your shirt pocket, in your wallet. And, every time you take a break, pull it out and just read over them. As you expose yourself to it more and more and more, these things will begin to plant memories in your head to where you won't have to remember. You'll reflect. You'll know right where they're at. So like here, Numbers 23:19, God is not a man that he should lie, neither is he the son of man that he should repent. Exodus 32:3, I am the Lord your God, which brought you out of the land of Egypt and out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. Now, Christianity will say, well, Jesus isn't another God. He's the same God. Okay, so then you'll have to come down to another one. Let me go here. This is where I like to paraphrase ones. God will not allow himself a human likeness. Isaiah 40:18. Let me read that straight up. Isaiah 40:18. Where did you go? Okay, here we go. This may be it. I actually mislabeled it here. Isaiah 40:18. To whom then will you liken God, or to what likeness will you compare unto him? But then another one, 42:8. I'm the Lord your God. That's my name, and my glory I will not give to anyone, neither my praise to graven images. So no matter what claim that Christianity makes, and they try to play this circular reasoning thing, one thing I experience with most people is they'll want to talk to me about the Bible, and then we'll discuss a verse, and we'll say, okay, well, according to this verse, there was no virgin birth. Then we'll move on. And then 3 or 4 points later, they'll double back to that virgin thing again as if we never even discussed it. And I'm like, you know what? Set some ground rules when you talk to people and say, hey, listen, if you want to talk, I would love to, be very willing to, but let's just agree to a couple things. Number one, everything we are going to discuss has to have some sort of foundation from the Old Testament, if you will, the Hebrew Scriptures. I got to change this screen here. Sorry. Is this it here now? I want to put there it is right there. That's what I was looking for. Okay. I want to keep it originating from the Hebrew Scriptures, from the Old Testament. Second thing is, don't double back. Once we get to a point and we discuss something, let's not go back and revisit it again if we've already ruled it out. I mean, so you can really set the ground game however you want to. And at the end of the day, what's going to happen is, at least what I have found with me is when I talk to people and I keep these ground rules, it makes the time that you invest a whole lot less. You can sit here without ground rules and you can talk back and forth on Facebook in person with your friends and loved ones for hours and days and hours, and you look back and you've literally could count probably 48 to 60 hours that you've dedicated to answering their questions, right? Or you could regroup, make a plan, set a game plan. You set out the ground rules, you ask the questions, or have their questions limited to your ground rules. And that 40 to 50 to 60 hours of your time that you have dedicated to this can be reduced down probably to less than 5 minutes. The reason why is because once you put them in the corner and you tell them, here, if we're going to do this, we got to do it right. Let's just cover the spot, and once we get here and you just lay the ground rules out, they will actually lose interest in it. Now the thing about it is part of being a light is if they're asking you, that's what we want to talk to them. We want to give them answers. But if they're asking you in a way that's trying to lead you back to Christianity, trying to prove you wrong, then that's an area you're spending time in. You shouldn't be. I say that very cautiously because you really have to watch out for those people who are trying to lead you back. Because if we want to be a good steward of our time, the only way we can do that is to really monitor everything. So, and it'll save you a lot of aggravation too. So there's so many things on Facebook that I don't even get involved in. I absolutely avoid altogether communication, period. In fact, if you'll notice on most of my posts on Facebook, I'll put the post up there and it'll get a lot of traffic and people will go in. There'll be Christians and maybe, a few other type people, and they will make comments, but I've just made up my mind. I'm not going to comment. I'm going to let everybody else comment on it because most of the time when I see comments like this, I don't think that these people are open-minded. I think they're just trying to tell you what they think. So anyway, we'll take this call. Caller, welcome to the show. Thanks for calling in. Tell us your name.
Hey, William, it's Jason Akers.
Jason Akers, how are you doing, buddy?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing good, man.
My son had a question
Okay.
for you. He's almost 12. He'll be 12 next month. And he said he's too shy to get on the phone, but he wanted me to ask you.
Okay.
His friend's mother does these henna tattoos. If you know, it's like basically it's like drawing on your skin with a marker or something. I don't know. I can't get into that stuff myself.
Okay.
But his friend is a little boy that, because we homeschool too, and so we got together with a couple of homeschool groups over here that in Virginia, and so he's made a few friends, and this little boy's got these these little henna tattoos that they draw on themselves, and he was wondering it because it's not really scarring up the skin or anything like with a normal tattoo where it actually puts a permanent scar on your skin.
Right.
And he was wondering what would be the ruling around that, if you would know anything about it with Judaism when it comes to when you should or shouldn't. You're not supposed to get tattoos because you're not supposed to mar your body.
Right.
In any way like that. But this isn't really marring your body. It's more like a temporary kind of a, like that they draw on it and then it washes off eventually.
Right. That's a great question. I've got my own opinion on it. It's definitely, I have to tell you and everyone else there, of course, this is just my understanding. I do I do side on the side of Orthodox Judaism, like 100%. It's not partial for me. It's all the way. I mean, I may not agree with them, but I still side with them. And you kind of have to pick which road you're going to travel. Can't say, well, I want to ride Highway 29, except this part right here where there's this little crazy S-curve crap. I'm getting off of here. I'm going to jump over 2 highways over and go 2 miles and then come back. It doesn't work that way. You got to pick your road. So my approach to this whole thing is this. First of all, if tattoos are forbidden, actual tattoos, getting the permanent changes in your skin, then my advice as a parent would be probably what you're already thinking is that why would you allow your child to play with something with the idea of something that God doesn't want you to do. Because what's going to happen, or what could happen, is they like the idea of this tattoo so much, 12, 13 years old. Next thing you know, when they're 16, 17, they sneak away and get an actual tattoo. Then you've got a problem on your hands. So it's kind of like the whole thing, don't commit adultery, right? Well, but you let your kids look at nudie magazines. I mean, it's not that bad by any stretch of imagination, but if you could think about the comparison, there's a similarity there. If you don't want your kids doing drugs, then likewise anything associated with drugs you want to keep away from them completely, right? So if there's anything, like, for example, here's another one, the Sabbath day. If you know that it's that you are being held accountable for keeping the Sabbath day, then during the child's uprearing and during this time, a parent would want to do everything to make sure that their child honors the Sabbath, and the best way to do that is by leading by example. But if they see dad, say, well, we'll go do this time, and or I've got to work today for whatever reason, then you're setting a bad example for the child, and he thinks. So there's a whole lot of interweaving ideas that can really answer what I think would be the best final result of that question. But halakhically, maybe there's not an issue when it comes right down to the letter, if you want to look at it that way. But I think it would be unwise for someone to play around with something that's not quite a sin, but if you were older and did it, it would be a sin, sort of a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. I can understand that. That's how I'm more of these, lead by example, and not only that, but his friends, they're real interested. They've started asking us questions as parents, and stuff, started asking us questions about Judaism and things, because we're working through the Noahide laws, and we've pretty much accepted all that, and we're working slow and steady wins the race. But
wonderful.
And they've been asking us questions, and I feel like, it's not really the right example to lead if you want to, because tattoos are forbidden.
Right.
And because they are a permanent thing, and I can kind of see why you wouldn't really want to try to pretend. Let's say more like a pretend game. Like,
right, exactly.
I have a tattoo, but I really don't have a tattoo, but we'll pretend, and other people would see it and may even think it was real as well.
Right,
which
gotcha.
Goes along the same kind.
Jason, did I just hang up on you? Okay, who's on the
phone? I
phone?
think you got me, Brother Will.
Jason, if you're watching, call me back in a minute, okay? Who am I speaking with right now?
It's your...
man. Buddy. How are you doing? My big brother, how are you?
I'm well, thank you very much.
Good. Hey,
I just wanted to pipe in for a minute in the question of, marking your skin with magic markers.
Thank you.
You were correct that it is permissible, halachically 100%. As far as the issue of getting the kid used to doing something like that, and then perhaps he'll go to full-blown tattoos later, you explain to the child that the only reason why you're allowed to do it is because it is not permanent, and he can play with crayons on his skin, he can play with ink or whatever he wants to play with. And I just want to make another very important point over here.
Okay.
You got to be very careful about adding anything to the Torah, just as you're not supposed to subtract, you're not supposed to add.
Gotcha. Right.
And we know what happened in the Garden of Eden.
Right.
When the serpent told Chava that she said, "I'm not even allowed to touch," and he said, "Look, it touched and nothing happened."
Mm-hmm.
So here's the concept: if someone adds, he's actually detracting from the Torah. So if halachically there's nothing wrong with it, there's no reason why kids can't play with it. Now, somebody noted, well, he's doing it for girls. Well, that's a separate topic altogether. You can't confuse the two.
Right.
The prohibition of tattooing, actually, the Rambam explains, that's Maimonides, explains that the reason why the Torah says it's forbidden, because that was something that the idolaters used to do. was something specific to idolatry.
Oh,
So even though that may not be the custom today amongst monks or priests or whoever, the prohibition still remains. So if you have other issues with girls, good luck. That's another issue.
Hey, and just for all you viewers out there, this is my dear friend Mordecai. He's basically my big brother, and he's in a family full of rabbis. I mean, he's actually teaching me halacha. Well, if I could ever get back on the bus with him, that'll be soon, I'm hoping, Mordecai. So anyway, so I really appreciate it. I was actually going to ask you, as soon as I found out that was you, that's exactly what I was going to ask. So I'm glad you did that for me.
Well,
Thank
I just
you.
want everybody to know Will is just a big cop-out, because if he turns out to be no good, it's because I'm his big brother. So that's going to
Hey, I love you, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for calling in.
Okay, great. Have a good night.
Okay, thanks. Bye. Okay, so I got this whole Ring Central phone app that we have the 800 number in loop through. For a year and a half, you couldn't take hold calls, and all of a sudden I did an update, and now it shows me while I'm talking, it'll beep with someone calling in on the two-way or whatever you call it, and it has two options, and I clicked one. And I clicked the other, and I still can't figure out. I think I don't think they're American, because they didn't explain it easily on what to do. So the phone line is open right now. So again, please, if you don't mind, give me a call back like now, and I'll answer. I'll try to figure out the call waiting thing as it comes along. So that's good. That's really cool, man. I love questions like this, because a lot of these questions, like I said, we just don't get a chance to talk about. So, let's see. I was going to actually bring my 12-year-old son in here, and I don't even know if they're still here. Okay, there we go. Hang on. Oh, if I can get a long enough leash here. Okay. This is this Jason?
No, man, it's Johnny Womack. How you doing, brother?
Johnny, man, I just got tongue-tied. I hung up on Jason to answer another call, and told him to call back.
You want me to hang up so he can call back?
No, that's okay. But here's what I'll do. If the phone rings while we're talking, I'm going to use you as a guinea pig, and I'm going to click one of the green buttons, and if it hangs up on you, sorry. But if it doesn't hang up on you, then I figured it out.
Well, hey, after all you've done for me, I'm more than willing to be your guinea pig, bro.
All right, man. So you got a question or comment you want to say?
Yeah, and the first time we talked, I was so happy and so excited. I probably sounded like I was drinking 8,000 cups of coffee. So
that's all right.
Apologies for that.
That is okay.
I decided to, when I was for Noahides.
Okay.
How do we best show proper respect and love for Shabbat, and what should our thinking be, and what attitudes should we adhere to?
Okay. Here, stay on the phone with me for a minute, because you may hear me going off on something that you weren't asking. Okay. So basically, from what I've gathered, from what I've gleaned from the rabbis, is this: Noahides do not have to keep Shabbat. In fact, you're not really allowed to keep it the way the Jewish people do. Okay.
Right, I understand that.
Want to work and you want to stay home and study, by all means. I mean, that's really permissible. But to try to follow halakha as a Jew is not an acceptable practice for a Noahide.
Right, that's forbidden, right?
Okay. Now here's the thing: a Noahide, a general Noahide, wouldn't want to anyway. Okay, that's why they want to stay a Noahide, and that's kind of a blanket statement that's not true for everyone. However, what I find is it's the ones who are technically Noahides, or a ger, if you want to. That's probably a more appropriate term, is a ger, who is actually thinking about conversion. Those are the ones who actually really want to find out what it means to keep Sabbath day. They're the ones who are possibly thinking about converting to Judaism. And with that said, you'll get different answers, but most of them are kind of honed in around the same area, and that is, if you've already talked to a rabbi about wanting to convert to Judaism, go ahead and start keeping it the best you can.
Right.
But if you have no intention of converting, then there's really no need to do that. I mean, you can still keep.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I guess another aspect of that question I could put it is, I just, even if I don't keep it, I still want to not do anything that would dishonor that because it's the holiest day.
Sure.
That makes sense.
Yeah, sure. Well, here's the thing.
Is there anything we should abstain from, or certain things like studies, like you were saying? Or?
You know what? Here's the thing. There's not a lot of there isn't, as far as I know, hardly any halacha on how a non-Jew has to keep the Sabbath day.
Okay.
But I could say it would be very easy to profane the Sabbath in a sense if you were to do something just really awful,
Right.
But really, you're either following it halakhically as a Jew, which is incredibly strict and very precise,
Right.
or you're not a Jew, and the freedom is yours. If you want to watch TV, you can. Jewish people would never turn on a TV or a phone on the Sabbath day, an Orthodox Jew. But it's not forbidden for like you or me. Like for me, I use a television or my computer screen to study with. When I'm studying Hebrew, I pull up my Hebrew on my computer. Now, if I was when I convert to Judaism, I won't be able to do that anymore. And so it's not a sin for us to do that. If you feel like you're having a conviction about it, like it is sinful, you may be closer to wanting to convert to Judaism than you know.
Oh man, I would convert tomorrow if I could. My wife is very happy with her spirituality, so it's not an option. But
Right.
Oh well.
Right. Yeah, that's okay. I mean,
fine.
You know what? If your heart, this would be my personal advice to anybody watching. If you're feeling like you want to draw closer, I mean, spend more time studying. You can't. There's no harm in that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of halakha would say there's certain things you can't study unless you have converted. But in general, if you want to keep Sabbath, keep it. You want to keep the holidays, keep the holy days, man. I mean, we keep the holy days at our house. We have Sukkot. My friend Mordecai, who just got off the phone with us here, he sent us a lulav and Isrog, and we use them every year, And it's like because we want it. That's for us. Here's the thing. I don't ever want to get complacent in my walk with God. And so as long as I keep participating in these things, in Shabbat, and participating in these holy days, I feel like that's going to help keep me reeled into my commitment with God. I feel like if I decide, well, I'm a Noahide or a Ger, so I don't have to, so I'm just going to ditch it, well, then it feels like I'm just starting to emotionally drift away further and further, and I don't ever want that. I want to stay emotionally as tight and close to God as I can, so therefore I'm going to put more energy into it. That's like I said earlier. If you want something to grow, feed it. If you want it to die off, just let it sit there. It'll die off. I promise you. So there you go.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for your time.
Hey, thank you, man. And call anytime. And next time, by the way, if you send me a message on Facebook and I don't respond automatically, just sometimes I see them, but I'm driving and I can't respond, and then I'll forget about it for like a year. But don't lose hope. You could always catch me here on the show. Okay, so shalom to you, my friend.
All right, brother.
Okay, take care.
Have a good night.
You too. Thanks. Bye. Okay, now I have a special request. Mordecai, I know you have Skype. So if we get a halakha question on the phone, I'm going to be expecting a Skype call from my big brother Mordecai, because he knows this stuff pretty much inside and out. I mean, like I said, he's walking me through some studies, absolutely divine. I mean, I can't wait to get back into it. I've been off now for a couple months, and we're gonna have to get back into that here soon. So, of course, now I just added a Thursday night class, so now we've got a Monday, a Tuesday, a Wednesday, a Thursday. I don't know when we'll pull it off, but we'll try to do it maybe sometime during the day. I don't know. So I was going to write down all these questions and stuff, but I didn't. So phone lines are open. I haven't been juggling the lower thirds because I don't really have any time to focus on that thing now. But I will say this. Call if you want to. Let's see. Anything to... Okay, let's see. What do we got here? Oops, I just lost my screen. I'm trying to read some of the comments. The Aunt William and Co. What? This is where context really comes in handy. I'm reading a few sporadic comments, and I have no idea what you guys are talking about, but that's okay. So, okay, going back to this list that I've got on screen, you will find it very handy to. I'll tell you what I did. Here's what I would recommend, and I'm totally not joking with this. This is very serious. When I was a Christian, I took my studies very seriously. And I printed off, actually I found well over 100, now the list has been up to 200, but well over 100 New Testament verses that I wanted to commit to memory. Really serious ones. And mainly it was because I left Christianity and went to Messianic Judaism. And they were all about things about keeping the law and things like that. And so I got tired of people asking me and me not being able to tell them. So I took time and I took a piece of paper, probably about a fourth of the size of a sheet of paper, and in real fine print, I wrote down all these scripture references, a brief paragraph, like a one-line or a half-a-line paragraph on what the contents of that verse was. And I created that list that I could only fit like 50, 25 on one side, 25 on the other. So I picked my 50 favorites, and then I laminated it so it couldn't get damaged. And then I kept that with me in this little fold-up checkbook-sized wallet that I used to carry. This checkbook-size Bible that I used to carry around in my hip pocket, and I put this insert in there. And every chance I got, I would go back over and I'd read over this list. And I kept that thing with me everywhere. In fact, I got to the point where I actually made about 10 copies of it, laminated those copies, and when I was talking to a Christian who was serious enough to really want to know more, I would actually give them one, and then they would have a cheat sheet. So I'm going to be doing the same thing to this list that I've got now as well. So because it was so handy, and just you don't realize when you're memorizing something until you actually need it, because you'll surprise yourself. It's kind of like Hebrew. When I started learning Hebrew, I'm not fluent again, just clarifying at all, not even close, but I know a lot of Hebrew. But when I first started learning Hebrew, it seemed repetitious, but I was distracted enough because it was kind of fun. It wasn't until about a year later, maybe even longer than that, when a friend of mine, Lon, y'all know Lon, just by me mentioning him a lot, asked, we was doing a study, and he was teaching me just out of a book that had nothing but Hebrew in it, and he began to show me how to break down these words, and I was very shocked to find out that there was like 8 words in a sentence, this random sentence I'd never seen before, and I knew 7 of those 8 words. I knew exactly what they were. Not on the surface, but after he pointed out the root words and told me in Hebrew what it was. And so I was very shocked and amazed to see how much you could actually learn just by repetition, repetition, it's like real estate, location. So, okay, so you know what? It's about 5 minutes till 9. If I get a call, we'll go ahead and stroll on, but if I don't, we're probably going to kind of wrap up soon. I was hoping my kids were here. I'm going to turn my mics down just for a second so I can yell and see if they're still here at the house. Here they come running. Okay, cool.
Sarah's asleep.
Oh, is Sarah asleep? Okay, what'd you do with where's your hat?
I didn't bring one. I have a beanie.
Oh. Hey, oh no, it's okay. She doesn't have to. Hi, you want to come say hi? To like the world. Yes, come here. Y'all want to meet my wife? Yes? No? Yes, you do? You don't? You do? You don't? David, bring your mother in here. Oh, you really don't want to? Oh, maybe another time. But David, he's not so bashful. So,
There's too many people. I don't want to.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Come here, David. This is, okay, y'all already know David. He looks like the background, sort of. Yeah, so David, you want to say hi? Oh, we got a call. Okay, hey, maybe, David, here, come here. You could say hello here. Hey, please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Hello, William. This is Fernando calling you from South Carolina.
Hey, Fernando, how are you, man?
Good. Watching your solo show.
Oh, this is kind of like a trial episode, if you will. You called it a good time. I just brought my son in, my youngest son here, just to say hi to everybody. And we had just to tell you, David, we had a caller earlier by Jason Akers. He was asking a question for his son. I thought y'all were gone because it was so quiet. I was gonna have you come in here and maybe let you listen and see what you would have responded to it, because he's like 12 also. You're like 11, he's 12. So, yeah, that would be fun. So I was trying to talk David and Sarah to doing the intro for me, and then like the full intro, welcome to TORAH Talk, whatever, and then I'll come in. We may try to pull that off on next week. Okay, you can go help your mom.
No.
Beat it, kid. Okay. Fernando, what can I help you with,
He's
man?
having a good time.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the reason why I'm calling William, I've been thinking about this question for a whole week.
Okay, very good.
I was thinking I need to call William to ask him about this question.
Okay, sure, go ahead.
And it is the following. For us that are not Jewish, that we follow the Torah teaching.
Okay.
And we are very interested in everything related to Hashem. The question is it proper for us that are not Jewish to be watching on the Sabbath, on Shabbat, shows or videos of rabbis talking about Torah? I don't know if you understand the question.
Yeah, I think I'm following you. I mean, we kind of, I guess you could say I kind of covered this, a little bit of it, just a little bit ago with another caller, with Johnny Womack, I think it was. And the general idea is, from what I understand, is, like I said, according to Judaism, according to Orthodox Judaism, for the non-Jew, it's not an issue. Now, for the people you're watching, like if there's an Orthodox rabbi you're seeing on there, and they're actually, here's how I would do it. If I was watching TV and I was watching a Torah program on Shabbat, which I do from time to time, I watch YouTube videos actually. But if I was watching TV and there was all of a sudden there was this Jewish teacher on, and it was on Shabbat, and I knew it was live, honestly, I wouldn't watch it. I wouldn't contribute to that, just for my own preferences, because and the thing about it is, an Orthodox Jew wouldn't be teaching something on air anyway, because they wouldn't be running equipment. I mean, there's such a tight halakha that they follow. So in an essence, and for a long time I had a hard time accepting this answer. I didn't like the answer. But realistically, for the non-Jew, it's really a non-issue. Now, if you're in the middle of conversion, however, that's different. If you've already started conversion, then they'll say it's up to your rabbi. But from what I understand, the general decision is, if you've already started conversion, regardless of who you are, and you're in the process of it, you're in training. It's like going to school and saying, well, I don't want to do the homework. No, if you're in school, you have to do the homework. You have to do the classwork. That's why you're there. But if you're not, and you haven't begun yet, it really kind of is a non-issue, from what I've understood by discussing it with like Rabbi Singer and a couple other people. So again, I don't have the authority in the matter. My friend Mordecai could probably answer that question much better than I could, who called earlier. You probably heard him, unless you just tuned in. So that's generally it. TV itself, for a Jew, would be completely off limits. Cell phones, the whole 9 yards. They have certain ways they deal with lights in their house, as far as some of them have timers. Some of them, they just leave the lights on. They don't ever turn them off, so that when Shabbat comes, they're already on. They leave them on all night, so if they need them in the middle of the night, they're already on. There's no violation there of creating fire, creating a spark, and that sort of thing. So I try not to give advice. I can just tell you how I do things with my family is. As a practice, I tend to lean towards, if we're going to be using the TV, to use it for learning. That's just kind of, now, do I always do that? It really depends. I mean, I will tell you this, whenever I start my conversion, again, I'm going to follow it to the T. I'm not going to wander off the path, period. There'll be no phones, there'll be no television, no YouTube, no computers, death to the BlackBerry on Shabbat, as they would say. So that's about the best I've got for you on that topic, Fernando.
Okay. Yeah, I've been thinking about it, and I want to ask William this question to see, probably he knows.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're very welcome, man. You're very welcome. Like I said earlier to Johnny too, I mean, if you are already determined to convert to Judaism, then I would say start that practice now. There's no prohibition against you not keeping as many laws as you can. There's only really a prohibition about you can't do it like 100% the way the Jew does.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you've already said to yourself, Fernando, that I'm going to be converting to Judaism, best I can sometime in the next year or two, and you're determined, then I would say my advice would be start keeping the Shabbat the best you can now. Get used to not watching TV, get used to not running your computers, and so when that time comes, it's not a big shocker for you. You're already ready to roll. You're already unmoved by not having that around, and the temptations will be gone. So
Yes.
that would be my best advice for you, I think.
Thank you so much, William, for your time and for all you do.
Thank you so much too for your kindness. We'll talk to you soon. Shalom, shalom.
Bye.
Okay, so again, I said if we didn't get a call, we got a call. So I'll give you, if you want to call in again, another caller, we'll keep going. If not, we'll run a few more minutes and then we'll tune down for the night. So phone lines are open. Let's see if I missed anything here. And again, just to clarify, in case you're just tuning in, I am not Orthodox Jew yet. We do plan on someday converting. I don't know when that's going to be able to take place. And also, I do not claim to have authority on the knowledge base, although I do know a lot of answers. There's a lot of answers I don't know, and I do rely on people like Rabbi Singer, Rabbi Skobac for answers. Even my big brother Mordecai on Facebook, he's a good friend of mine, like family more like. In fact, Mordecai is actually the first person I go to when I need an answer on something. So, because I mean, he's it's really nice. He's got a whole family full of tzaddiks, man. I'm telling you, it's really amazing. The Jewish, if you watched sometime last year in July, this past year in July, we were in California. We went to a Jewish wedding. That was his son's wedding that we went to. And it was the most amazing thing I'd ever witnessed in my life. I mean, all you said, walked in, and you just seen these black suits and black hats like everywhere. It's like an ocean of them. It was really, really cool. So anyway, Mordecai, I still can't tell you how much that moved me. So, okay, weird drop in for William to start reading. Oh, sorry, weird drop in. Okay, I think I'm following you again. I'm having a spot read. I don't know what's going on. So I probably should say, if you've got a question, perhaps you should call in so I don't have to turn away and stop to read. Apparently that's a little bit of a distraction. So I'll tell you what, why don't we just go ahead and we'll call it a night for now. We've been going for right about an hour anyway. And this will be just, like I said, this is our little trial run, and we're going to probably keep doing this anyway, just to make it available. I don't think there's enough video formats out there to be able to answer questions for people who are really seeking. I think if you don't know of these, I would like to refer you outsource you guys to Jono Vandor has truth2you.org, great resource, great website. Jason's Spiritual Babies, Jason and Lynn on Facebook, if you know them. They have a lot of tremendous work that they're doing on a regular basis as well, bringing the light to the nations as well, and a lot more. I mean, there's so many out there. I couldn't mention them all, but if you go to my website, you'll find a lot of their information on the bottom of the main part of my website, TORAH.com. And so, as far as I could tell, the website has been fixed. If you go there, like for example, right now, let me pull it up, and I'll just to confirm that, and let's see if in fact we are live on here. I got to make sure that I pause it. I'm pulling my website up right now, and we'll see what happens. There's the live stream, and let's see if there we go. So when you go to TORAH.com, it's just a short, easy way to find whatever show is being aired at that time. And the way this whole system works is all the boxes below that you see right now, that's like underneath here, these are all in order of when the last show before this one was. Okay, so if you're looking for, if you say, a couple weeks ago, man, go here to the TORAH Talk page, not YouTube, and you can just go back and scan through these videos. I think it kind of refreshes up to 40 videos, and you can go back and look and see which one it is. the Tanakh Talk, the YouTube channel. Sometimes it's kind of hard to find things. However, there are playlists there. Now, on this page right here, actually, I was wrong. Let me go to, let's see if I can figure out how to make this work. Oh yeah, it's on a reduced screen size, so I'm gonna go to the home screen. Actually, I think that is the home screen. I need to show you this before we disconnect, so you can kind of see how to navigate the website, okay? So on the main screen, okay, it's thinking. I think oh, there it is right there. Okay, on the main screen, you can see recent episodes. Here is a section, shows down here. You can see all the different shows that we're hosting. Latest, I don't understand a lot of this, but Meet the Rabbis. Here we go. Now there's more teachers on here than what I've got up here right now, but at the bottom, later on we'll have everybody up here who are teachers and their websites and resources. And I'll even throw some more resources up here as well, like for James Wood. He has the book Leaving Jesus. That was yeah, that was a big one. That was probably the final nail, I guess you could say, or one of them anyway. So give me a call. You can shoot me an email. I don't respond to a lot of the emails because I get too many of them. I will tell you this: if you want a quicker response for me, if I see an email that's got 3 or 4 paragraphs of stuff, I typically don't even have time to open those or read them because they're just getting hundreds of emails in. And so shoot me a quick message on Facebook, and I'll get to it as soon as I can. Outside of that, just hang in there and keep watching shows. Worst case scenario, you all know that you can catch me right here at Tanakh Talk every week. Pretty much the same schedule. Now that we're back, this coming Sunday, will be no recording tomorrow, but this coming Sunday, there will not be a Rabbi Singer, Isaiah, or Let's Get Biblical Q&A because he's traveling, which is why we did the recording this morning instead. And so he will not be here this week. The following week, there's a possibility he may not be here either. He's probably going to be in flight traveling during that time frame. So the next 2 weeks with Rabbi Singer is going to be kind of iffy. But everything else, as far as I know, is on schedule. If you don't know the schedule already, I've got TORAH Talk. Each week we'll do the weekly Torah Parsha when we can. If I don't have a guest, maybe I'll try to share some stuff that I've learned from it. I don't know, but Hebrew for Fun and Profit is the 5 o'clock show. Rabbi Michael Skobac, Acts chapter 20 coming up. And then Monday Night TNT. Pray for Rabbi Stuart Federow because he is going in for knee surgery. So there's most likely TNT will not happen unless I get a stand-in, and I may have a stand-in for Monday night. So we'll see. Tuesday is going to be the testimony thing. That's another new show that we're creating. We're going to advertise it so that people can call in, give me a call in on the phone or through Skype, and we're only going to talk for like about 5 minutes each. And I want to just start hearing testimony by testimony, like one after another, just to kind of get y'all stories in a high volume in one condensed show out to the people who want to find this stuff out. And then, of course, Wednesday night, 8 p.m., Rabbi Chaim Coffman for controversial issues. And so that is the lineup. And I really look forward to seeing all of you guys. And hopefully you will be there. Shalom, shalom. Thanks for tuning in. Take care.